It's not the party. It's not the majority. It's the loud voices that a lot of their points are valid, but a lot of them are also just repulsive. And I mean, they repel people.
The hearing was rocky, to say the least. And not just because it sounds like he swallowed a bag of rocks. Kennedy was accompanied by his wife, the actress Cheryl Hines. Vaccinated person having a heart attack? Yes, come right on in. We'll take care of you. Unvaccinated guy who gobbled horse goo? Rest in peace, Wheezy.
Enjoy. Live life.
You did get it in
Embrace life.
You did get it.
I got it after I was vaccinated. Let's not even get into that, because I know you and your boyfriend, Howard Stern, are very paranoid about this.
Honestly, Jimmy, you know, I watch your show. It's always weird. I'm here on your show, but I like watch the show.
Oh,
imagine being me, and then you're just sitting here, and now all of a sudden you're the guest. It is a little bit odd.
If you had to boil it down to like one thing, that's kind of what it is. It's like, oh, you're no fun. I don't want to be part of your group.
I don't know how else to describe what I'm about to show you. It is one of the most spectacularly out of touch moments maybe ever recorded in modern media. We have Jimmy Kimmel lamenting how people don't want to vote Democrat because of repulsive people on the left, yet completely forgetting his famous rest in peace wheezy line about Americans that didn't want to get, you know, the jab, or all of his insane over the top insults about Trump and Trump voters and all of this. Also, he now has claimed he intends to flee the country because he's afraid of Trump. I suspect that he knows he's going to be out of a job soon, and so he's probably going to have a good amount of free time to work on that. Hey, I want to remind people real quick, our summer flavors are out at Coffee Brand Coffee. 30-second blackberry cream, tiger's blood, both available on coffeebrandcoffee.com. I really think these are two of our best flavors ever. I think the tiger's blood's going to outsell our blueberry cobbler, which is our #1 flavor. Link in the description below. Promo code SUMMER10 to save on them. And check them out. Kimmel on the left, on the repulsive left.
It's not the party. It's not the majority. It's the loud voices that scare people from saying what they believe and make you think twice about a joke or whatever, you know, these things. And, you know, a lot of their points are valid, but a lot of them are also just repulsive. And I mean, they repel people from, they go like, oh, you're no fun. I don't want to be around you. And I think that if you had to boil it down to like one thing, that's kind of what it is. It's like, oh, you're no fun. I don't want to be part of your group. It's not the party. It's not.
Well, Jimmy, I hate to be that guy, but remember, do you remember this?
I hope you had a relaxing Labor Day. It was not a fun Labor Day weekend COVID-wise. The number of new cases is up more than 300% from a year ago. Dr. Fauci said that if hospitals get any more overcrowded, they're going to have to make some very tough choices.
Which never happened, by the way.
About who gets an ICU bed. That choice doesn't seem so tough to me. Vaccinated person having a heart attack? Yes, come right on in. We'll take care of you. Unvaccinated guy who gobbled horse goo? Rest in peace, Wheezy.
Remember? I can't even believe that he's on a podcast saying this. By the way, these are two of the dumbest, most repulsive individuals ever. Sarah Silverman and Jimmy Kimmel. Of course, while appearing on Sarah Silverman's podcast, his ex-wife, Kimmel slammed the loud left for woke cancel culture that turns people off. It's not the party, it's not the majority, it's the loud voices that scare people and saying what they believe. Well, Jimmy, bro, that's you. You're the guy. You are exactly who you're describing, and you're so dumb, you can't even recognize it. On top of that, Jimmy Kimmel, my brother, I know that you're nervous about your show getting canceled, so he's desperately trying to complete this about face where he's with us. He's suddenly against woke cancel culture, even though, again, if you didn't get the jab, he says, rest in peace, Wheezy. That's about as extreme of cancel culture as you can get. Like, we know the body of your meat the body of the horrible things Jimmy Kimmel has said are like, I don't know, he can never escape them. And he thinks he can just go on this stupid Sarah Silverman podcast that has 11 listeners and somehow escape that he wanted half this country to, not have their rights. That wanted to, he wanted half this, this country to pass away if they didn't take the jab. The whole thing is unbelievable. His blackface stuff. This guy has no idea. Now you see these clips of Rogan saying, why is he doing this? He shouldn't be deporting people, and go, F you support him, whatever. I don't buy into that. I don't believe F you supported him, Jimmy Kimmel said. The door needs to stay open. If you want to change your mind, that's so hard to do. If you want to admit you were wrong, that's so rare to do. You're welcome. He's saying he wants Jimmy Kimmel back as a Democrat shill. I mean, again, what Jimmy Kimmel is saying is not incorrect. If somebody changes their mind, there should be a path to redemption. That was always my biggest problem with cancel culture, is this idea that look what happened with Joey Swoll, that fitness influencer, right? A bunch of softy leftoids got butthurt because he paid an homage to Hulk Hogan. So then he comes out and apologizes, and guess what? Those people didn't forgive him. So what is the lesson Joey Swoll will learn? Well, there's no point in Now, in this case, he didn't have to apologize. He had nothing to apologize for. But let's say there's something he did have to apologize for, okay? He hurt a bunch of people's feelings because he said colored people instead of people of color, which is, of course, ridiculous. Although you could make a small argument that it's a little dated, okay? Intent matters. He didn't mean it as a negative pejorative, but either way, let's say he wants to come out and say, yo, you know what? Colored people is like a weird thing that we used to say. If it offended you, I apologize for that. And then you dogpile him anyway. This is what the left does. By the way, the right does it too. If there's no path to redemption, then cancel culture was never really about teaching anybody anything. It was just about ruining people's lives, and that's what I always said it was. They didn't want you just fired from your job. They didn't want you just to lose a sponsor. They wanted you dead, and that was always my belief about cancel culture. Kimmel's remarks come as Fox News host Greg Gutfeld gave glowing praise to late night show host Jimmy Fallon after not being afraid of the left's cancel culture. Gutfeld, who appeared on Fallon's show Thursday night, joked that pairing was the biggest crossover since the Harlem Globetrotters visited the Golden Girls. The Fox host dubbed Fallon a great, genuine guy who wants to make people laugh instead of putting them to bed angrier than they were than the view at a salad bar. Look, this is not Jimmy Kimmel. Let me be very clear. I want you to leave a like on the video if you agree, understand, and that you'll also let someone else know. Okay? This is not Jimmy Kimmel having a great epiphany. This is not Jimmy Kimmel making an atonement for the last 12 years of absolutely vile things he said. This is Jimmy Kimmel in survival mode. He is desperately trying to keep his pulpit, his bully pulpit, on the late night show, on late night television. He doesn't want to get fired. And he knows that the tides are changing. What pushback did Jimmy Fallon really get other than a few butthurt articles from places like the Daily Beast? Nothing. Was X raging about Jimmy Kimmel hosting Greg Gutfeld? No. Did he have a huge ratings boost? Yes. Did the show make more money than normal? Yes. So what are his bosses going to say next time he says, hey, let's bring this person over who's viewed as a bad guy or as somebody on the right? They're going to support it. We know, based on a different video I've got today, that Jimmy Kimmel's or Stephen Colbert's old boss absolutely unloaded on liberals and the woke left, saying, stop with this, that the show was canceled because of Donald Trump. They were hemorrhaging money and nobody wanted to tune in to rage bait right before bed. I understand that concept completely. That's why I watch old episodes of The Office, or Everybody Loves Raymond, or King of Queens, or these old, or Seinfeld. Old sitcoms is what I watch before I go to bed, because I'm not trying to get all worked up before bed. You know, Jimmy Kimmel admits the repulsive liberal scolds are driving people away from the Democratic Party. This is what Jimmy Kimmel wanted. He wanted all these articles from conservative media promoting him like he had turned a new leaf. Look, Jimmy Kimmel wanted us dead during the lockdowns. I will never forget that. I will never forgive him. I will never bend the knee. I will never give this man 1 centimeter of ground back, because he never gave it to us. And he never would. There are other people on the left, for example, that are having a renaissance. Anna Kasparian, remember when Cenk Uygur was taking, doing the tour of all these podcasts pretending he was a reform liberal. There's a lot of people. And again, this is the problem. There isn't anything inherently wrong with being liberal or being conservative. And somewhere along the line, the mainstream media convinced people that was the case. I have lots of liberal friends, and we get along great. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. These late night TV shows worked tirelessly to convince everyone that they weren't supposed to be friends if people voted a different way, or if people were apolitical, or people did or didn't want to get the jab. I have lots of friends that got the jab. So what? If they had asked me what my opinion was, I would have said, hey, you should talk to your doctor. I didn't get it because I was concerned about long-term effects. But I would not stop being their friend. But that's what the left did. That's what Jimmy Kimmel did. For 12 years, you don't get to go on a podcast and suddenly be like, well, yeah, I mean, boy, the woke scolds on the left are a real problem. My brother, you are that. Now, Jimmy Kimmel, of course, now is talking about fleeing the country. He's an Italian now. He's talking about fleeing the country. Bro, let me tell you, when you go to Italy, you're not going to like it. You're not going to love what you see. There's a reason Rosie ODonnell is talking about coming back already. There's a reason that Rosie ODonnell probably lives in the Irish countryside and not in the cities, because the people of Europe are rising up against the migrants just like they are in America. And their next leader is probably going to be a little bit more like Trump than you like, Jimmy Kimmel. I'm an Italian citizen now. Should I pull a Rosie? Here's the deal. Jimmy sat down with Sarah, his former loser girlfriend, who was never funny, as a guest on her Dead podcast. And they bantered about stuff. For the record, Sarah's no fan of the commander-in-chief either. Wow, I needed to know that. At one point, Jimmy made a surprising statement, revealing he secured Italian citizenship following Kimmel calling on Trump's second administration as bad as you thought it was going to be. It's actually been pretty amazing, other than the Iran blip on the radar and the fact that we now know he's basically never going to release, quote-unquote, the files. Sarah chimed in, it's way worse. Jimmy doesn't hold back. It's unbelievable, he adds. I feel like he's even worse than he thinks we would be. He said, wait, where is this? It's no secret that Trump won't get along with comedians who have made fun of 47 for years. Of course, Rosie ODonnell, another comic, famously moved out of the U.S. after Trump won his election. Will Jimmy follow in Rosie's footsteps? Of course he won't. Of course he won't. The idea that, he's going to flee the country maybe after he gets fired, he's going to go to the Italian countryside in a $20 million villa for a few years. But he ain't moving to the city. None of these people move to the city. And I'd love to ask just why that is. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.